How about that cigar?
How about that cigar?
He did it kind of creepy this time.
I did it.
So, guys, welcome to another Tuesday night. It is How About That Cigar, episode number
61.
Episode 61. We are here live in the Drew Estate Cigar Studios. Thanks so much for joining us. Take just a second, share us out to your favorite Facebook cigar groups. Let everybody know that we're live so you can join us, ask questions, leave comments along with us while we're broadcasting tonight. And we want to talk to you right now about Drew Estate's new Lonsdale size of the Tabac Especial. The Lonsdale size has been underappreciated, especially in the United States. However, spark one up and you'll see why it's so loved with seasoned cigar enthusiasts. And the Tabac Especial Lonsdale is no exception. Perfect for pairing with your morning coffee, the Tabac Especial Dulce Lonsdale is a 6 3/4 by 44 Vitola wrapped in a creamy Ecuadorian Connecticut wrapper with lush Sumatran binder and rich Nicaraguan fillers. When you're enjoying an after-dinner espresso, however, you will want to grab a Tabac Especial Negra Lonsdale. This elegant smoke is wrapped in a very dense Maduro wrapper and is the bold pick-me-up you need after a heavy dessert. Both Tabac Especial Lonsdale expressions are packaged in 10-count boxes, perfect for the grab and go. For more information, visit drewestate.com. So, once again, episode number 61. We're so happy you guys are with us tonight live on Facebook and live on YouTube. As I said, please leave comments and questions along the way. We're going to bring our special guest on the show in just a minute. But we want to talk a little bit about, the fact that gradually things are starting to open up. So, we're seeing more and more of that depending on where you live. We talk about it a lot and we're going to keep talking about it. And that is get out there to your local brick and mortar cigar retailers. They really need our support during this time with everything going on with the coronavirus lockdown and social distancing. Most of those shops are starting to at least open their doors again so you can go walk into the humidor, pick out the cigars you want to buy, and bring those home to smoke with you. For the most part, depending on the state, the lounges are still closed. The smoking areas in those shops are closed. But go in there and make sure to pick up your favorite sticks on a weekly basis. Support those brick and mortar shops because they are really important, to us here in the cigar culture. Sporting wise, we would love to talk about Minnesota Twins. Unfortunately, we can't. We're really hoping that we get at least some, sort of a little semblance of a baseball season, although it'll probably be, not going to happen in 2020. But I have been sort of living off of some old Twins clips. The Minnesota Twins Facebook page has been replaying some classic games from the history of the Minnesota Twins over the last few months during the COVID lockdown. So I've been really enjoying watching some of those old games from like the 87 World Series, the 91 World Series. Yeah. It's been really good to watch.
So Matt, we can't tease them any longer. We've got to talk about what everybody is dying to talk about. Bill and Ted 3.
Oh, I know. So I posted that I saw a friend of mine posted on Facebook the long-awaited sequel to Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. Yep. It is called Bill and Ted's The Song Goes On or something like that. Yeah. Shoot, I can't even remember it now, but it's it looks hilarious. It looks stupid and goofy.
Face the music.
So, I mean, if you were a fan of those movies, back in the 80s, they were just, just these sort of stupid, mindless comedies, but they just make you laugh. And
it's what Keanu Reeves was made to do. I'm pretty sure
it is. He is that character
until John Wick.
Yeah.
Like, say what you want about Keanu Reeves. When he was doing Bill and Ted's, he was excellent. then when he did some other stuff, he did tried to be
the Matrix.
The Matrix, he was okay, but but when he was John Wick,
John Wick was
he was solid.
Yeah. Way better than I loved the Matrix movies, but I loved the first Matrix movie. The second two were kind of dumpster fires, but
They were a little bit.
the John Wick movies were awesome, and they were completely unrealistic and over the top. But
totally,
it's the phrase from some other movie that escapes me right now, which is overkill is underrated. And that's why I love those John Wick movies, because they just go completely off the deep end when it comes to action and unrealistic, unrealistic firearm skills and God knows what else. So, but yeah, Bill and Ted's movie, we're so excited for that one coming out. And again, we'll go back to it time and time again. Get out there, and support your brick and mortar shops, and get out there and stay involved in the cigar community. Whether you're if you're still wanting to stay home, we get that. We completely understand it. Get on Zoom, get on Facebook, get face to face with people and smoke cigars and talk about the same things we normally would talk about when we're in the cigar shops, and just some places, some shops even here in the Minneapolis, St. Paul area, bring your lawn chair, but go in, buy your cigars, and then set your lawn chair up in the, out in the parking lot and sit there and, enjoy a cigar with your friends, as long as it's not 90 or 100. It was 100 degrees yesterday,
dude,
which
it was not okay.
To be 100 degrees in Minneapolis is,
we don't know what to do with that kind of heat.
We'll call that out of the ordinary. But guys, we have a great special guest on the show tonight. We want to welcome him right now. Let me pull up my paperwork here. So bringing us into our special segment of the week with our special guest, that, as always, is brought to us by Corona Cigar Company and coronacigar.com. They are the internet's largest and easiest to use virtual cigar store. Corona Cigar Company offers you the finest handmade cigars, humidors, and cigar accessories at the absolute lowest possible price. And you'll also find unique and limited cigars containing Florida sun-grown tobacco. As a proud American, president and founder of Corona Cigar Company, Mr. Jeff Borshowitz, believed it was possible to bring cigar tobacco farming back to Florida. At Corona Cigar Company and coronacigar.com, you'll find the best selection anywhere in the world of cigars containing this special Florida sun-grown tobacco. For more information on all of that, please visit coronacigar.com and floridasungrown.com. So, ladies and gentlemen, please, if you would, welcome to episode number 61 of How About That Cigar Live, Mr. Eddy Guerra from Davidoff.
Eddie,
how you doing? How's it going?
Man, you know what?
Let me see this camera right here.
It's great.
What's going on?
We're so excited to have you on the show, and we're excited to just talk about pretty much everything Davidoff. We want to talk about Avo. We want to talk about Davidoff, and we're so grateful, man, for you to spend some time with us on the show. Tell everybody a little bit about where you're broadcasting from, what you're smoking and drinking tonight.
Well, I'm broadcasting from St. Petersburg, Florida. Our headquarters over here in Pinellas Park, and I am smoking. Let me see where my camera is. The new Avo Classic Maduro, which is going to be coming out now. It'll start hitting the stores this month, and I am enjoying a nice glass of Prisoner red wine, just because it's a weekday. I don't feel like going hard, so. Red wine is a way to go for me during the week. Sometimes, as of recently, I've been toning down the hard liquor and going right into wine, just because I feel like, we pair so much when we smoke, and it gets to the point where like you can pair too much. So lower ABV kind of makes me last a little longer. So it works.
So, tell us a little bit about, what one of the things that we like to get kind of everybody's backstory, especially when it comes to, we're not going to ask you to take us back to birth, but give us an idea of your first experience, sitting down with a premium cigar, and kind of how that turned into, the passion that you have for premium cigars today.
Yeah, no problem. My story's weird. So, Cuban American, parents are Cuban. My father, which is unrelated to what I do, but like my father was a tobacco farmer. Our families were tobacco farmers. Not why I'm in the business. It's just coincidence. But growing up, they were always smoking around me, like most Cuban families. And my first couple cigar experiences were nauseating and not really well. that's the truth, right? I'm not going to give you the PR answer, but what happened is later on in life, when I was in my early 20s, I had a cigar that I thoroughly enjoyed, and it was just one of those things that it was just like, hey, every once in a while you have a cigar, no big deal. I was always in hospitality and nightlife, and I eventually ended up being relocated with the company I was with, and I ended up living in Southeast Asia. So it was a completely weird, different experience and fun. And I was running a luxury resort beach club, and we were selling cigars to our customers, and that's kind of like when it kicked off again. And after a long night, I'd light up a cigar and enjoy it, and really just kind of started following up with it. And it's kind of what led me into the business. After all these years while I was over there, I got sick and tired of selling Habanos in the hotel, because that's all there was in Thailand. So growing up in Miami, I grew up with a lot of manufacturers and their kids and whatnot. So I just started calling home contacts, people I grew up with, and just be like, hey, how do I get some of your cigars over here in Thailand? And some which way or another, I ended up becoming a distributor, which led into becoming the largest distributor of non-Cubans in Southeast Asia. I ended up leaving that company. I started opening up whiskey and cigar bars in Bangkok, and did that until I eventually was kind of forced to relocate back home. I got to experience what it was like to live through a military coup, which was kind of like the movies, and then kind of sold everything and was just like, all right, time to move back home and start all over again. And I ended up moving back, and a lot of the guys that I was distributing were, I was fortunate enough that they offered me jobs, and and I jumped back into the market into the United States, so it was cool. And that was a whole nother journey in itself. That went from, working at Gurkha for a few years and being able to do my unique style of marketing, I think, for the industry and product creation and packaging design. And that led into Altadis USA, which now I'm here at Davidoff, which it's my very happy place.
And this is one thing I'm kind of curious about, just going back to, the times that you spent some time opening up, like you said, cigar bars or cigar and whiskey bars in those areas. What was kind of the main clientele for those? Were they all over the world, or was it mainly people from the States, or what?
It's so I mean, thing to keep in mind is Southeast Asia, right? So in Thailand, there's a 400% import on tax. Let's just start off with that.
Jeez.
So plus what it costs to import it. And to give you an example, one of the reasons why I was tired of Habanos, right? So I was selling Cohiba Robustos for $125 in Thailand. Because that's just the cost, right? So before I even knew about import taxes or any of that stuff, just as a hotelier, and I was just like, this is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I grew up with the Padrones. I know Nick Perdomo. Like, how their cigars burn, and this is before being like kind of ingrained in the business, just like as a consumer. So
yeah.
It was interesting. So importing that, it obviously came in as significantly cheaper, but at the end of the day, like, man, cigars that would retail here in Florida for $7-8 are still retailing over, you're still getting those $7-8 Robustos in Asia for $25-26, and people were smoking 3 or 4 a day. So in short, definitely the upper class, right? But definitely a lot of expatriates. So it was like a really interesting mix. You would see all sorts of expat Americans, British, German, Dutch, and then like a lot of political and high net worth business ties, and it was interesting. It was like a really cool way to join the scene, the market, because my experience was totally nothing like what the U.S. market is like. So when I was developing events and developing, like, you don't walk into these places unless you're in a suit. Like, it just, it's very old school, very traditional, you know? So it's the whole, hey, we're going to do an event and it's like a buy 3 cigars and you get one. It's like, the people that would come to these events, they weren't even interested in that. They were just like, what's the best thing you got? I'm going to pay for it. And give me a rare single malt. So it was really about service, old school service culture, the fact that you're actually enjoying a beautiful handmade product. You know, I think, you know, because of the way it's evolved in the United States, we kind of forget that. You know, we're just like, oh, I want this cigar, I want that cigar, and you're going through 3 or 4 or 5 cigars a night, which, I mean, I do sometimes too. But like, if you really pay attention to the amount of hours that goes, days, years into this, like you're when you smoke it, you sit there and you enjoy it, man. So like, it was really neat, and I'm really happy that I had that experience, because when I was able to come into the States and jump into business here, the marketing that I understood from the liquor world combined with that old school, old world experience was definitely something that wasn't happening here. So I was able to differentiate the type of stuff that we did. So I'm kind of thankful for that.
So in that kind of case, it was sort of like you said, a lot of the clientele, they weren't concerned about freebies or cost or anything like that. Doesn't exist. Yeah. Would you say it was like sort of like the experience, like you said, of just making everything, you know, they wanted the absolute best.
They wanted the absolute best, you know. So you have, the only time I would give away stuff, right, is if I had somebody walk into any of my venues with a Habano, because I didn't sell Cubans there, and which was a bold statement because I'm Cuban, right? So like, it was a bold statement at the time, like all the press, like, Cuban guy comes in here but doesn't sell Cubans, and people obviously, right, they would show up with their Cohibas or something, and you see them sometimes they're plugged, and I'd walk over and be like, this one's on me. You know, like, because I knew the comeback, right? It's literally all about experience. No, you know, sometimes when you're really about that, like, you're not interested in the free stuff or the lower price stuff because you think something is wrong with it.
Yeah.
Like, if it's cheap, it must not be good, you know?
Yeah.
So it was a cultural battle to try to explain to them, you know, like, all the brands. And I think I carried the 14 strongest brands at that time. So to have them try amazing products and be like, oh, wow, okay, it's interesting. It was cool. It was definitely neat. So
have you seen any of that? I mean, I know it's definitely toned down a lot in the last, I don't know, I'd say the last decade. Fortunately, American consumers are very exposed to a lot of great Nicaraguan brands, Dominican brands, Honduran brands, and so forth. And fortunately, the word is out when it comes to, you know, the sort of myth about Habanos. And how have you seen that progress over the last number of years in the States and maybe even other areas around the world?
I mean, non-Cuban has definitely made its mark. I mean, it's out there. I mean, it's really out there. It's already at this point, like, every country knows, people know, people have tried it. I mean, I think it's a matter of flavor profile at this point. So take the American consumer, for example. Since we were used to non-Cubans, like, we're used to cigars that have multi-country blends. So the complexity that we are used to, you're just, even if you get a perfect burning Cuban, it doesn't taste the same. I'm not saying it's bad, you know, like, I'm just saying it's not complex that way. It's pretty one-dimensional. So, you know, so I always say, like, you just got to be in the mood for that kind of flavor.
Right.
It's the best way, you know, for me to say it. But I definitely think Dominican, Nicaraguan, Honduran, even up to Costa Rican, I mean, it's made its mark. You know, it's out there, and people know it. I also think you got to think of reality. It's like, and I use this analogy quite a bit. Think of French wine. right? I mean, I would say California wine's better, Argentinian, Italian. But at the end of the day, French wine is French wine because you got fucking ages of promotion of Bordeaux and French wine. So you have, and what I call the glory years of tobacco, right? You have this, 60s, 70s, 80s, of the glory years. I mean, that was Cuban tobacco at that time. So globally, 30 years of people pounding you of just, we're the best, we're the best, we're the best. There's no competition. We're the best, we're the best. To me, it's the same thing as French wine. I'm not saying it's bad. I like French wine. I think California's better. And, so I think it's just conditioning.
Well, and it's also, sorry, we're laughing just because I have some family members that are trolling the comments right now. So we can just ignore them. They're asking about Swisher Sweets and that kind of thing. So they're definitely trolling hard right now.
Which we love. We love it.
I appreciate the trolling game. I do. Yep. We love it.
Matt, I do want to talk about
I'm one of them.
Thinking. Are you a troll?
No, I like to, when I see friends online or I see them in interviews, I like to bombard them with private text messages and make them screw up. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Anyone that knows me personally, I'm a total prankster, and I'm very serious when it comes to work, but other than that, I'm not serious at all.
All right. So I want to talk about this Avo 2020.
Phenomenal. I'm going to get in trouble for smoking so many of them already. It's to the point. Yeah.
So it's a cigar. So with the bourbon that I'm drinking right now, Henry McKenna 10-year bourbon, it's a lot of times with a cigar that people would maybe classify as mild or mild to medium. People shy away from pairing richer bourbons or scotches or rums with a cigar like this, but there's some underlying spice and things in this blend that stand up to the bourbon without any problem. The bourbon is not overpowering the cigar by any stretch.
No, it's not gonna. I mean, that cigar, people first see it because they see the Connecticut wrapper, they're just kind of like, it's not so strong. But I mean, that cigar's got some heat to it, man. It's got some power. So there's not many cigars that you could say. I have a couple in the back of my mind that you could be like, all right, it's Connecticut, but I could actually smoke this at all times of the day with all liquors or whatever meal I had and be like, I'm good. Like sometimes, you feel like you have a heavy meal. Man, I want something bold, powerful. Like I could actually smoke that after a heavy meal and be like, oh man, I'm good. Like this is just hangs. I think it's an interesting cigar. I love it. It was the first project I worked on when I joined the company. Proud of it, man. I really do love it. I think it's interesting. I find the whole Avo improvisations interesting as well. Like every year they've been so different. And to come out with something like this, I think this is going to be one that's people are going to talk about for years, for sure.
Well, and when people ask me for a sweet cigar, I say, two things. One, do you mean artificially sweetened or do you mean naturally sweet? And
I think that's a good question because I don't know if many people could actually taste naturally sweet.
Dude.
I mean, we can because we're smokers, right?
But that's why, it's one of those things you want to gauge. What is your palate like? Are you an experienced smoker or, are you looking for acids? No disrespect to acids. There's a,
but it's different. It's just different. I mean,
it's a totally different product.
Yeah.
So this cigar will definitely go into my sweet category and it is beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely, I've been taking advantage of everything kind of reopening, especially where we're living, and it being summertime. And I live like 2 miles from the sand. So I've been actually going to the beach and smoking that thing with some rosé, wine, which there's not many cigars you can pair with rosé wine. It's not the manliest thing to say in the world, but I enjoy it. Whatever.
Yeah,
Whatever.
man.
It is what it is. But like that's one of those cigars I could do that, and then I could also put it against some bourbon, you know, like you're doing it right now, and it's great. It's really, you know, I have a theory when it comes to limited editions. And this is a personal opinion. I'm not saying it's law, but like I feel when you do a limited edition, it's got to be something that could appease everybody. There's nothing worse, in my opinion, than doing a limited edition that blows your damn face off. And people are like, oh, man, this is an annual limited edition, but like I don't smoke strong. But not everybody smokes strong, but everyone could smoke medium to mild.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So I think when you make a limited edition that's going to be rare and something that's a collectible, it should be something you could pick up at any point in your life later on if you had a box and you're collecting and all that stuff, and you could still light it up and enjoy it. And I think this fits that profile quite well.
And so, Eddie, what can you tell us about this 2020 and the improvisation line in general?
There's not many left, so go buy them.
So once it's gone, it's gone.
It is. Yeah, I've already smoked my allotment. No, it's a phenomenal cigar. Take packaging aside, like it's a total collectible. The packaging is stunning. Price wise, for a limited edition of this caliber, it's still at a fairly good price at $16. But again, like this is, at Davidoff, we have 2 factories in the Dominican Republic, and this is made in one of our special factories, and it's pretty much all Dominican except for the wrapper, which is Ecuadorian Connecticut. But it's got, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different types of tobacco in it. So when you think of like the true complexity behind that, it's pretty intense, So
I'm already getting a transition.
And that's what I like. And I think as smokers, every month your palate changes, right? Like you go through these phases where like, oh man, I'm only smoking Maduro, or I'm only smoking Connecticut, I'm only whatever Habanos. Like I feel like our palates are constantly evolving, and
yeah,
I think the more that you smoke, you do really start enjoying cigars that are a little bit more, I don't know if the word is delicate, but like where you can really start picking up on there's some different tobaccos in here. Yeah. So like there's certain cigars. And while I enjoy this in a public setting with a lot of people, this is also one of those cigars that I like to actually sit at home by myself and be like, no one bother me, dude. Like,
yeah,
I'm concentrating on this thing, and I'm gonna really, like, God, it's so taggy. It's the old tagline from Avo, but I'm really gonna like savor this moment. Like it's special.
Yeah.
And there really isn't much left, to be honest. We launched it not.
I'm hearing you on much. I'm going to hit you up after the show and we'll talk.
Yeah, no, there isn't, man, because you got to think about it. Like when you release 2,500 boxes and they're 16 counts, right? So they fly rather quickly, and just think about how many stores are in the United States. People want 4 or 5 boxes that are like it just starts. Again, like the conversation we had before we went on live, like when it came to some limited editions, I'm like, oh man, I'm going to keep a couple boxes for myself. And they're like, they're already sold. Yeah. So this would fall under that category. So it's special. I recommend everybody to, not everyone can afford a box, but grab a couple. You'll enjoy them. Yeah,
it's very good. And the retrohale's killer too. There's it's got a good mix of the sweet and spice, both. So
yeah, no, for sure. We have good stuff this year. Like I'm pretty happy about the releases that we have coming out between that and the classic Maduro, which I'm thoroughly enjoying right now. Which both cigars are. It's cool when you work and you're releasing products and you actually love all of them.
Yeah. So I want to get an idea of going back to when you first came into your role with Davidoff. When obviously having experience in the cigar industry, When you first landed at Davidoff, what is kind of the process that you go through as far as, learning about the company, learning about the history, learning about the lines and the blends, and then working on those new projects that are going to be upcoming? Like you said, this was the first project really that you worked on directly when you came to Davidoff. So what did the process look like for you when you started to really, get hands-on with the projects and start working with the people at Davidoff?
I mean, Davidoff was an interesting transition. Like, first and foremost, like I do classify myself as a cigar dork, right? Like I don't just work at a company. I fit that mold of, like, I do what I love, right? So, and still to today, like I'm constantly, what are you doing on the weekend? Oh, I'm going to this shop and I'm hanging out because, like, that's what I do, man. So I knew, and I smoke everything. So, like, I was obviously very familiar with the brand. I used to sell it in Asia as well. It was one of those things that I always kind of envisioned myself working there, and somehow I was very fortunate that my growth path in this industry led me through some great companies and right into where I wanted to be. So my onboarding was cool because, like, I already knew quite a bit, but it was a lot. It was a lot to see the difference between where I was before and where I was going, just how everything works differently. And I mean, Davidoff is a machine as far as a company goes, man. It's impressive. So it was interesting to join that system and see how far ahead of innovation planning cycle they are, and how much care and truth they try to put behind everything, So, and I say that because there's, companies where they work on stuff and like they manipulate stories, So, Davidoff was very adamant about sticking to what they said they were going to do. So I thoroughly enjoyed that. And, going through the process is interesting. The innovation team is I'm pretty sure you've heard of the legends in Dominican Republic,
Oh yeah.
So that's intimidating, to say the least.
Yeah.
And equally, there's very impressive people at global headquarters in Basel, Switzerland. So and then we have legends within our own inside the U.S. So, like, it was interesting. It was like stepping into the all-star team. So it was a little overwhelming at first, but, like, I settled in. I have what I do and what I specialize in, and I'm pretty confident in that. And not many people do what I do, and I'm pretty proud of that in terms of the style that I work. But Davidoff was cool. Their innovation schedule is crazy ahead of time. So, like, we're already working on projects for 2022, literally. We're 2 years in advance working on really cool, innovative stuff, and that's it's awesome, man. I have no other way to describe it. Like, I've been able to be in this industry and kind of witness it at so many different aspects, to having my own whiskey cigar bars overseas, the privately owned mom and pop company, to right into the big AUSA, Altus USA, like managing Monte Cristo, Trinidad, and all that stuff, which that was, like, an honor in itself. That was a cool time and great. But then it's just seeing every transition. I don't know. It was it's kind of hard to describe. And then what I do there is really all encompassing. So I'm the senior brand manager over there. So I manage all brands: Davidoff, Avo, Camacho, back to back, and then so on and so forth. Griffin's, Baccarat, ST DuPont.
Yeah.
It's not like there's a brand manager per brand. So pretty much handle everything and work closely with all the teams to develop the plans for the future, innovation, how are we going to market, which is kind of where that's my comfort zone. I kind of picture a product and say, all right, this is how I want to release it. This is how I want to promote it. This is I try to capture emotions. And I always try to market outside of the cigar business, if that makes sense. I always market a lifestyle versus an actual product.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not, as much as I'm interested in everybody in a cigar shop, I don't want to enter the race of everybody fighting for the same person in the humidor.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that makes sense.
Well,
I'd rather go.
No, go
I'd
ahead.
rather go bigger. Yeah, I'd rather go bigger. You know, celebrity partnerships, super luxury lifestyle partnerships, whether it's with wineries or watches or whatever. Because the reality is, most of the people that buy cigars don't know anything about cigars.
Right.
You know, so I want to kind of let those people know, hey, we're the ultimate premium. We align with these brands. We have these brand partnerships. Come in. You know, it's just different style of positioning, which I enjoy.
So let's just talk about all the different hats you wear, because Davidoff is in everything, and they touch so many different products outside of cigars. You know, just within cigars, you know, what are the brands and the accessories that we're talking about that falls under your cap?
I mean, everything.
Yeah. Yes, the answer is yes.
The answer is yes.
So we're talking.
The answer is yes.
Avo, Davidoff, St. DuPont, and on down the line. You know,
Zeno, Camacho,
Baccarat.
Yeah, literally everything.
Everything.
So, you know, and you know, I can't take credit for everything that happens because I have a magnificent team. You know, I may work hard, but I'm nothing without my team. So, like, we collectively
drink a lot.
Kind of awesome. Yeah, we collectively drink a lot, but like we really work hard for the same goal and innovation and sell out. And you know, one of the things I really appreciate about the company as a whole is, you know, when I first started joining the company, they don't call our accounts, right? They call them business partners, you know. And at first I was like, oh man, that's kind of quirky. It's kind of cool. I like that. Then I started realizing that our sales team, unlike any other company I've ever seen, really is doing business planning with people. So I'm not just trying to sell you product, but the whole point is we're business partners. It's about how we're going to sell the product through your store and sell you out and make you more money, you know?
Yeah.
And it's an interesting thing because it's really grown through this whole COVID crisis. You know, like first thing and foremost was, all right, is everyone okay? How are your stores? Is everything cool? Mm-hmm. Let's figure out a way to sell the product to make you money because no one else is making money. So let's make you some money so you could survive and pay your employees and all that stuff. So versus like, oh, I got this major discount and just load you up a product that you can't sell anyways, right? So it's more like, let's move what you have in inventory and let's try to help you out. And it's really refreshing and cool. So,
yeah. And we were talking a little bit before we went live, you know, just about things starting to open up, and Florida's pretty much open. I mean, for the most part,
pretty much.
But
yeah,
you know, during the time that everything across the country, really across the globe, was kind of shut down. You know, what are some of those things that you really, I mean, aside from going into the shops and meeting with you know, business partners and things like that, what are just some of the things that you found yourself missing that when they finally started to reopen, whether it was a restaurant or an event or anything like that? What are some of those things that you thought to yourself, I'm so glad this is open again, and you went out there and you know, that one restaurant or that one bar or event or place that you said, okay, I got to go there right now because I've been missing it for a couple months?
No, it's food, man.
Yeah.
Dude, it's like, I don't want to say I'm a food snob, but I'm, you know, like I like to eat well.
Say that.
You know?
Yeah.
No, because like it could be taken You might be like, oh, I only eat fancy food. No, it's not that. Like, I love great food. So, like, since I had to move over here, I don't have my house. My house is still in Miami. I'm in a loft, so I can't smoke food anymore. So, like, it was like the bar. I could damn cook, but like, dude, smoked brisket, ribs, all that stuff. Like, it was just like we were just sitting there like, dude, when is this opening back up? I miss that. You know, I don't make pizza, and granted, pizza places are open, but not everything was open. So it was really like the whole food thing, because everything else we got, man, like, we're still able to smoke. We're still able to be on Zoom chats and talk to people and do that part. You know, we're still able to drink. So, like, almost all those bases were covered. It was just really, and we can still work out indoors. You know, so the only thing that was really missing is going out and enjoying food with friends and like conversing and just at that level. But
yeah,
I got very fortunate. Like, my COVID wasn't as bad as everybody. Like, I mean, I know some people have suffered, but my whole experience was all right. It's just, I mean, considering that I'm complaining about food.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
The biggest hardship is you can't go to your favorite, your favorite restaurant. You're doing
you know, the other thing, actually, there is something else that kind of really actually sucked. And it wasn't even food. It was just like, I missed my family, right? So I didn't want to drive down to Miami and take the risk of seeing my 75-year-old parents, you know? So, I mean, I got very fortunate. Like, for example, last week was the week before was my father's 75th birthday. So, like, take a COVID test, wait for results, stay in quarantine, drive down. Because, like, there's no way I'm going to risk a 75-year-old. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's like, that was an awesome experience, and I really enjoyed that. But coming back home, like, it really made me think, like, shit. Every time I want to go see my parents, I got to get my nose jammed up. That hurts, by the way. It feels like they poke the back of your eyeballs out.
Right.
But, like, legitimately, because you're not going to risk, any elder's well-being.
Yep.
Until there's an actual vaccine, really, right? So it's like, damn, mom, dad, like, I'm not going to see you guys until I can get a test, and you can't always get a test. So it's like, every time I go down, like, that part kind of sucks.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, I've been fortunate, So
you had, you had your smoker. You're making briskets, and it's so funny how just about every show the conversation turns to barbecue. And so
because not everybody can barbecue.
That's true.
Who doesn't like barbecue?
Right.
It really appeases everybody, because you can smoke anything. You can smoke seafood. If you're not, you could chicken, turkey, sausage, beef, pork. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, literally, it makes everybody happy.
So if let's just say you had to choose between, do you have a favorite style of barbecue? If we're talking like Texas style versus St. Louis style versus Memphis style, what's your favorite style? Carolina. Are you a sauce guy or a dry rub guy?
Oh, dude. So it depends.
Matt just wants to know if you rub your meat. That's
right.
That's where we're going.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, with sauce or dry rub? All right. It's do you exfoliate or moisturize? It's pretty
right.
Much,
there it is.
It's tricky, right? Like, it's kind of like asking me what's my favorite cigar. I can never answer that.
Yeah.
It depends what the fuck I'm in the mood for.
Mm-hmm.
I like all the above, right? So I have lived in Texas. I have still do. I have property in, like, North Carolina, right? So I'm literally two big bases, because St. Louis is a mixture of the both. A lot of people don't realize that, like, Texas is beef barbecue, North Carolina is pork barbecue.
Yeah.
St. Louis is just fucking everything. They're winning. Mm-hmm. Man, that's tricky. That's a hard question.
I think it's.
I guess at the end of the day, I'm gonna have to go with dry rub. If I had to choose, I'm gonna have to go with dry rub because I don't always want sauce, but when I want it, I really want it.
100%.
But I could live with just dry rub.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we talk about the different sauces. You know, you talked about North Carolina. For me, that Carolina sauce, dude, that vinegar base, that's my jam.
Vinegar base is good. It's good. I did live overseas in a country where everything is extremely spicy. So.
Oh yeah, Thailand.
If you've never, so like Thai barbecue sauce for me, for some reason. So anything that has some heat behind it is my jam. Which totally off topic. You ever watch Hot Ones?
Do I? I subscribe to the monthly hot sauces.
I found a store here the other day that carries all the sauces that they have on that show. And I actually want to do my own personal Hot Ones challenge. Dude, but
I would so do that.
Dude, right? Like completely off topic, but I like sauce that has a little heat to it, even if it's sweet heat, but I like heat.
But flavor first and then heat.
Of course. I mean, too much heat will burn your taste buds.
Yeah.
100%. Yep. And too many, I know a lot of spice guys who are all about, heat and heat and heat. And I'll try some of the hot sauces that they have. Sure, they're hot, and I'm a hot sauce connoisseur. But if it doesn't have good flavor, I'm not in for pain just for pain's sake. Like if you're gonna burn me, I want it, hurt me good.
Well, and it's not much different. I mean, it's you can equate it to cigars. Like Eddie, you were saying earlier about special editions shouldn't be, quadruple Ligero super face burners.
Of course not.
There should be balance.
They shouldn't be.
The same is true with sauce. The same is true with spice levels in food. And also true with, even bourbon, like this bourbon that I'm drinking right now. It's an alcoholic beverage, but it's about the flavors and the nuance and the stuff that you get out of the bourbon. It's not, if I just want straight alcohol, I might as well just pour myself a glass of Everclear but then what's the point? Because it tastes like
I do have a question now.
Yeah.
What's your bourbon? What's your bourbon?
See, that's like asking me my favorite kind of barbecue cigar.
I had to choose. I have two that if like the world was gonna end, they're like, dude, there's two bourbons. Like I have two, right? One is Widow Jane, which I think is ridiculous, and then I would say Michter's.
I have had Widow Jane. This is going to sound weird, but I don't think I've ever had Michter's before.
Oh my God. It's the first bourbon, like you read taste profiles and you're just like on anything, whether it's cigars or liquor, you're just like wine, like, oh, I taste these, I taste that. And you're like, okay. It's the first time I've ever had a bourbon where they're like nose of bananas and kind of tastes like a hint of bananas. And I was like, holy shit.
Huh.
It really does.
Well, I would have to say if I had to choose two bourbons to only have those for the rest of my life, one is got to be this Henry McKenna 10-year, because if I'm paying out of pocket for it, because this stuff it's outstanding nuanced bourbon and it's $40 a bottle if you can get your hands.
By the way, price and age has nothing to do with quality.
Right, absolutely, absolutely. And if the other bourbon I choose is Basil Hayden's makes one that's finished in Caribbean rum casks.
I have not had that,
and it is outstanding.
I would be interested in trying that.
It is
I
very,
like Basil
very
Hayden
good.
because I like Basil Hayden because it's not offensive.
Yeah, it's approachable.
It's again like the cigar you're smoking right now. It's not offensive.
Yeah.
It's just straight quality no matter what. Like, no one could say, I don't like that bourbon if you like bourbon. Shit that's too strong, you'd be like, ooh, that's too strong. But if it's perfectly balanced, you'd be like, all right, I can deal with this.
And if Ronnie was still on the show, he would tell us that his favorite bourbon is, that good old number 7.
Jack Daniels.
Oh, yeah.
That's his
favorite bourbon.
Technically not bourbon.
Technically
It's
not
not.
bourbon.
No, and he'll tell you.
I'll tell you what,
He made
man.
a joke earlier.
I went to the distillery 2 years ago, and I was never really the biggest Jack Daniels fan. But when I went to the distillery, I kind of walked away like, all right,
Respect.
you got some good juice. You know, you just got to know what you're buying, but you got some good juice.
I heard those tours at the Jack Daniels is a pretty cool tour.
It's an extremely impressive tour, and it's when you see their warehouse. I mean, it's impressive all around. What's even crazier is that it's in a dry county.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
So you could buy it anywhere in the world except for there.
Yeah.
it's the most bizarre thing.
Yeah.
But it's amazing.
So going back to and this kind of mixes two questions, you know, from all the let's focus right now on the Avo lines, you know, everything from, you know, the Synchro Nicaragua, the you know, the Ritmo, the classic, the new soon to be released classic Maduro that you're smoking right now. You know, what is that one, if you know, let's say that Avo was it as far as cigars that you could find on a store shelf somewhere on planet Earth. What is that one that you would say, I'm going to smoke this one every day?
Fuck.
I know it's not an easy question. It's like picking.
That's not an easy question because like this is like I knew a lot about Avo before I joined the company, but I didn't know it, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Until like you really have the portfolio in front of you on a daily basis. So it's like you're constantly. So like, you know, it's really broken up in two pillars: core line and synchro. And they really thought out well the core line, right? I'm not even against the synchro yet. That's after. Like when you think of the core line, like the classic, I mean, it's no brainer why it's the number one seller in like, because it's not offensive, but it's got great flavor. XO to me is something that, I mean, you look at my Instagram, I smoke it a lot. I love the XO. I love the flavor behind it. I love the story behind it of 6 years rolled, and then, you know, like it's just, it makes sense, but it's creamy. It's amazing. I also love the color. For some reason, I'm like attracted to that orange.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That it actually does play a weird just part of my decision. Heritage, though, for me, probably out of the core line, while it's the stronger one out of all of them, it's still not strong. Like their core line is still very elegant. So nothing's overpowering. It's old school. So I would say Heritage is probably the way to go for me when it comes to the core line. When it comes to the synchro line, man, they're all so good. It's so different.
Mm-hmm.
Like Ritmo is, you know, Ritmo is another 7-country blend.
Yeah.
Which is nuts.
Yeah.
So complexity is nuts. The original, you know, Synchro Nicaragua, the Fogata, like it's great, but the original Synchro probably for me is, I don't know, man. I enjoy that thoroughly.
Well, one that kind of blew me away when it first came out, when the Ritmo first dropped, I'm not a big, I typically smoke, you know, ring gauges from, you know, 42 to maybe 52, and that's where I'm cigars, at. But in the Ritmo, the bigger size, that fatter box press in that cigar, I actually think it might be the best size in the Ritmo line. I just think it works really well in that big ring gauge.
It's funny that you say that because I kind of feel the same way, and I had one on Friday. You know, that day I was telling you I was time traveling. So before I time traveled, I had one, and I was literally thinking the same thing. I was like, man, I don't like big ring gauges. It's just not my thing, you know. But for some reason, the way they blended the percentages of tobacco in that one size, like it just, like I remember smoking, going, "This is good." So, I'm with you on that. You know, Avo's really, it's a fun brand. It's really, I feel very fortunate to be able to work with these brands. You know, Avo is a fun brand to work with. Even Camacho is also pretty awesome brand to work with. So
yeah. Well, and Camacho's gone through such a metamorphosis in the last 10 years, and it's been an exciting brand to, you know, even before we were doing cigar media, just as cigar consumers and fans, it's been a fun brand to watch evolve over the last 10 years.
Yep.
it has, you know, what I appreciated about it is they always stuck true to their roots.
Yeah.
You know, this was like as an outsider before coming in, right? Like they are the kings of Corojo, right? So, and they incorporate it in every blend, but like it really stuck true to his roots of like, you know, people confuse it a lot when there's like, you know, the whole bold thing. Yes, they are 100% bold cigars, every single one of them, but bold doesn't necessarily mean strength. It means flavor, right? So, I mean, if you smoke the Connecticut, it's not strong, but it's like super flavorful. Same thing with Ecuador. I think Ecuador is probably my favorite Camacho right now. But it's like the underdog for some reason, but like it is arguably for me the best cigar in the entire portfolio.
Well, and one of the things that I have always in my own head used to discern, you know, when people talk about strong cigars versus and then the word bold cigars, in my head I discern it as this: strong cigars, you know, strength is that it's that feeling in, you know, like you just had like you just did a shot of whiskey. You know, you get that feeling up in the top of your chest like you just did a shot of whiskey when you're smoking a cigar that really has true, honest Ligero strength. And in some cases, you know, from a lot of different brands across the world, if sometimes those blends that are just strength blends, you get that feeling, but there's not much there that's discernible as far as flavors go. And that's where the word bold comes in for me. When I think about a bold cigar, I think about something that is it's discernibly what it claims to be. So if it's a bold, because you can have a bold Connecticut cigar
all day long.
To me, that's a cigar that it smokes like, it tastes like, it smells like a Connecticut cigar. And you can have a bold Corojo cigar and a bold broadleaf cigar and so on, all the way down the line. And it's when those flavors when the flavors of the leaf, that what that cigar is meant to taste like, when that comes through, to me, that's what bold means. And that's why, you know, with a lot of lines, including the Camacho line, when you smoke the different lines, the different bands, whether it's the Connecticut, the Ecuador, the Corojo, any of them, it tastes, they're each bold because they are what they are. They taste like what they're built to be. So, and I
feel like they don't, you know, I agree with you with the whole strength thing, but I also like strength. I don't really, I mean, I noticed it in retrohale, but like, I really don't notice it till about 15 minutes in when I start feeling the nicotine.
Yeah.
You know, like when ooh, man, I need something to eat, or I need some water. you know, so and
well, I want to go back to the Avo real quick.
Yeah.
And I just want to put in my vote for the classic number 2. That's cigar.
Good. I smoked one today. What are the chances of that?
Right. For me,
what are the chances of that?
That would be, you know, if I had an Avo selection of my desert island, it would be the number 2. It's never done me wrong. It's always been a solid cigar, super tasty. And, you know, I love that cigar. It's a classic and a pillar of cigars.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. So I'm going to call it a pro tip, right? When it comes to anything that we make, I personally love all of our tubos. All right. And the reason why I like them is because at the end of the day, I'm still like a classic kind of guy. Like, there's one thing I love about Cuban cigars, which is Cuban cigars, since they never come in solo, they all have that distinct like cedar blast. And for some reason, for me personally, I love that,
100%.
So all of our tubos, the cigars are not in cello, but inside the tubo, they're wrapped in cedar.
Yeah.
So while it's the same blend, same everything, there's just something special about, taking the cigar out of the tube and it just fucking cedar all day long. And the classic and the tubo for me is fucking money, man.
Yep.
So and I'll say the same thing with Davidoff, like Anniversario number 3 in the tube.
Forget it.
That thing is, it's special, man.
Yeah.
So
we smoked some of those on the show a few months ago when Klaas was on the show with us, and it really does have that, like you said, it's got that kick of cedar, and a little hint of it stays throughout the whole smoking experience.
Always, and it's amazing, like I understand, you have the never-ending debate, cello, no cello, that whole thing. I understand the need for cello because the amount of cigars that get returned because they get damaged, and also you don't want people picking up your shit. And,
right.
Like I get that. I get that 100% completely. But man, there's nothing like that cedar aroma. There really is nothing like, and I think that's one of the things I love most about going to factories and stuff, where you could go right into the cedar rooms and you're just like, yep, I'm taking this, so so the tubos for me in all of our cigars are a way to go. If you ever have,
that tubo number 2.
Yeah, big fan of that.
Early in 2020, Davidoff announced that it wouldn't be exhibiting at the trade show, and now there's not going to be a trade show. So, that's pretty much the case for everybody now in the premium cigar industry. But I want to know, from you, what is Davidoff and all the companies within the Davidoff family, what are you guys doing to really continue engaging with your retail partners, your business partners, consumers, things like that, sort of in the absence of normal, I guess, right now?
I mean, Davidoff in general, like, again, like I guess how I said a little while ago, we really do treat everyone like our business partners, so like, what we were offering or whatever would happen at a trade show, I mean, that's never going to change, right? In general, what's going to happen is kick up the support that we will have for our business partners, really. And I think that was going to happen whether PCA was happening or not. Like, you just got to always figure out a way to help out your partners and help them make money, because in turn you make money, so it's really more about coming in and coming up with different programs, different promotional materials, sales mixes. I mean, the list could go on and on, but like, how do we help our partners succeed? And that's always been the goal from day one. As far as the trade show goes, like, I don't really comment too much on that kind of stuff because, again, it's definitely above my pay grade, but at the end of the day, like, it is what it is, trade shows in general, forget the cigar business. The world has evolved.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Trade shows were extremely useful in the 80s and the 90s because that's where you find out about products.
Yeah.
And it was really an informational gathering of an industry. The way media has turned nowadays, internet and all that stuff, like, we're we're flooding the world with information. Like it's not necessary. And when you look at shows that have been staples for 40, 50 years, it's like, we're not going to do this anymore. And same thing with fashion shows and all that stuff. It's breaking down. It's because the model's broken, man. Like the world's got to evolve, somehow, some way in the cigar business. Like it turned into, the trade show was initially for information, but then it turned into this thing of like, that's where you'll get these deals. And then you have every other company in the world, like everyone is in the fight to the bottom, I call it, right? Meaning like, I need to push product. Like they're not thinking business partner relationship. They really aren't. Like I just want to move volume, whether they sell or not. So it's about what deal you're going to get, this, that. And then that turned into the fact of like, people are offering these deals months before the trade show and months after the trade show. So it's like, with the costs and everything, like it's just, the model just wasn't working. And that's like a personal opinion. That's not the company opinion. I'm just saying, like, as a consumer, and that's aside from cigar industry, right? Like,
oh yeah,
just so like I think on our behalf, like the goal, and it was spoken about, like we need to figure out, and we're going to figure out ways to continue to help our business partners bigger and better, and the money that used to go into this trade show, which was a lot of money, like figure out ways to put that money back into the business, into helping these people out, and it's happening. It's gonna happen. It is what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And we hear that from a lot of people that, and you're totally right about that. Things are changing, and I don't think any of it, even as soon as this time next year, and especially going into 2022 and beyond, none of it's going to look the same anymore. I think it's all going to look different.
I mean, even beyond trade show, just in general, the business, right? Like, how many, God forbid, but like how many people are gonna, I don't think we know the real effects of what's happening right now for another year.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Because there will be, look, there's people aren't going to survive it. They're going to close down. And then there's going to be people that are going to reopen, but like they're on such a deficit. Like how will they be able to catch up? Is the juice worth the squeeze? Like I don't think we know, so just that alone, it's changing. One thing that, just a couple months ago was like, I call it, again, the race to the bottom. It's just everyone's deep discounting and all that stuff. But even that has stopped. It's slowed down quite a bit online, I grew up knowing, or always being told by my father, like, if you don't value yourself, nobody else will. And luckily I joined a company that never did that. Right. So like Davidoff never was about discounting or any of that kind of stuff. But like, it's just the whole mentality is going to change. Companies need to start thinking like consumers. Yeah. Because even consumers that buy on discount and cheap cigars, there's only so many that they could buy, man. Like it gets to the point, like so I think it's about delivering the best value for money, which is beyond just a product. Obviously you got to deliver the best product possible, but like it's going to go beyond that. It's going to go into experience, and education and just knowledge of everything we're doing, and really you want to feel like you got your money's worth, and I think a lot of that is what's going to turn into. And it's going to be an interesting time for the cigar business in the next few years, between FDA, COVID, and just economy, right?
Absolutely. Well, let's transition and shift gears into this week's Smokabulary word. And as always, guys, the Smokabulary word is brought to you by AJ Fernandez. Born and raised in Cuba, AJ Fernandez now produces unparalleled premium cigars in Esteli, Nicaragua. The day-to-day operations at Tabacalera AJ Fernandez are managed under the watchful eye of Mr. AJ Fernandez himself in order to ensure superior quality. The AJ Fernandez portfolio of premium cigars provides blend, strength, and flavor profiles to match the preferences of any premium cigar consumer. Whether it's New World, Dias de Gloria, San Latano, Enclave, or Bellas Artes, you are sure to be satisfied with a premium cigar from AJ Fernandez. So, guys, this week's smokabulary word is gum. So, gum is...
I like double mint.
Double mint, bubblicious. You got your fruit stripe. You remember fruit stripe? But no, in the world of premium cigars, gum refers to, also known as goma, or there's the brand name Burmacol. It's the odorless, flavorless, and colorless substance that is basically used as glue when the cigars are assembled, mostly for applying the cap to a premium cigar, which cap was our smokabulary word just a few weeks ago, I think.
Yep.
But yeah, it's Burmacol or goma, and it's used to put the cigars together. It's just sort of it's a white powder that's mixed with water and turned into a sort of a clear paste, and it's applied to the wrapper, sometimes right along the seam of the wrapper leaf on the inside, and then mostly, like I said, on the cap to keep the cap from unraveling and falling apart. So, guys, that is this week's smokabulary word, brought to you by AJ Fernandez. And now it is time for Numero de los Muertos.
All right. This week, Numero de los Muertos, like every week, is brought to you by Oveja Negra Brands. They bring you premium smoking experiences forged from tobacco, time, and talent. Comprised of Black Label Trading Company, Blackwork Studio, Dissident, and Emilio, Oveja Negra Brands provide smokers uncompromising blends renowned for their flavor and lasting impression. Oveja Negra, where art and tobacco collide. Join the flock. Visit ovejanegracigars.com to learn more. All right, guys. So, Eddie, I don't know if you know about Numero de los Muertos, but I give a number. I do not. I give a number, and it is a cause of death. Sounds a little dark, but we have fun with it. And your goal and the goal of everybody watching is to try and guess what this thing is. And I'll give clues and hints along the way. The number this week is 1,314. And that number first started in 1902 with chunks throughout. And our last number happened in 2001.
All right. What was the original number?
1,314. 1,300, we'll call it.
So 1,300 since what year?
1902.
All right.
Oh, Jesus. I wish you would have asked me this before I drank a bottle of wine.
And so the first one happened in Glasgow, and the last one happened in Johannesburg, South Africa. So,
the Olympics.
Not the Olympics. We did that one actually just a few weeks ago.
And it's worldwide. The number's worldwide.
Correct.
Not just North America.
Yep. Glasgow and Johannesburg.
Is there an average as far as how many per year?
There's really not.
Okay.
It jumps around quite a bit.
All right.
And there hasn't been a major one since 2001. So,
major one since 2001. Is this some kind of outbreak?
mm-hmm.
No,
because that number is too low for an outbreak. Is this?
I think I know what this is. I just want. Am I allowed to Google this?
Dude,
why not?
Yeah, everybody else. Fucking Chad.
Did he get it?
Well, he didn't nail it on the head, but it's damn.
Don't say it.
All right, don't look at your screen because I put it up on the screen. I'll hide it from the screen.
I can't see it from my screen.
Okay. So.
It wasn't Live 8, right? No.
So between 1902 and 2001, it is football stampedes.
Oh, shit. How would you guess that? By the way, I was really off, except for the whole Olympics thing, meaning sports. But
Yeah. No, so specifically about stampedes.
who guessed? How did you guess that?
Dude, Chad's
a regular viewer.
Whatever, Chad.
And he nailed it. I mean, soccer fan fights. That's basically the same as a fan stampede at a soccer match.
Chad.
Not this year.
Well, yeah, not this year.
Well, and it's right, especially not this year. But okay. So Johannesburg World Cup. That's where. Yep. So first one in Glasgow, Scotland in 1902, and I'm sure it may have happened before, but all over the world at all of these tournaments, and sometimes even before the match starts, people will stampede, or it was people trying to get into the stadium and just rushed the stadium, and then it turns into this massive zoo of people that rush the stands, and people get trampled, and so 1,300 people.
It's like that old. There was a SNL sketch they did a couple times called "Scottish Soccer Hooligans." And it reminds me of that with Mike Myers doing his Scottish accent.
Yeah. Well, good job, Chad.
Dude, have you ever been to? Thank you. Have you ever been to a real soccer game?
Oh yeah, we got a new soccer stadium here in Minnesota, and it's really growing in popularity. Huge fan base. And then a few years ago, I got to go to actually the University of Minnesota hosted a premium league game, and I got to go.
All right, so you saw a real game.
I did.
All right, so you saw a real game,
and it was fan-freaking-tastic. Yep,
it's unbelievable. I went to one last year in Madrid. It was ridiculous.
I bet that was fun. Yeah, it was Arsenal. It was Arsenal versus.
Ooh, fun fact, and I think
I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure I'm right. Jay-Z used to be an investor in Arsenal. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Oh,
yeah, minority, but still
another businessman. He's into a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. But that was this week.
Is.
Número de los Muertos. That was a good one.
That was a good one.
And I have.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Side note: I have, in total, my time watching soccer on TV has probably totaled about 10 minutes in my entire life, and I've never seen a live game. It's just a game that never did anything for me. Maybe that'll change because there are sports I watch now that I never used to watch. So who knows? Maybe it'll hit me one of these days. It just hasn't so far. But that's just I'm a weird elitist American.
It's quite all right, man. I grew up playing soccer my whole life, man. So, did you know that while it's the most popular sport in the world, where it's played most is ironically the United States?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It's like what, the 6th or 7th most popular team sport in the United States, which is strange because it's played all over the place.
Yeah.
Here.
I know it's taken a long time to get traction, and but it is a great game.
We just got our team in Miami. I still identify Miami, even though I'm living in but we just got it. David Beckham's the owner.
Oh, nice.
It's interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've heard of him. I don't watch soccer, but I know who he is.
He's kind of a big deal.
He is kind of a big deal.
His hair is big deal.
He married a Spice Girl.
He did.
He did. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So let's move into our lightning round for the week, and these are kind of fun, non-cigar related questions. So, Eddie, if you could hear the thoughts of one living person for 10 minutes, who would it be and why?
Oh my God. I'm going to try not to answer this like an asshole.
Be honest, just do it.
I feel the number one answer.
No. One living person. Shit, everyone I'm thinking of is dead right now. Who do I find fascinating? That's a hard question. Give me a minute.
No problem.
Yep.
We'll play the Jeopardy music.
Anybody? It could be anybody.
Any living person, just to hear what they're thinking for 10 minutes.
And we've
Probably
heard it all.
Shia LaBeouf.
Wow.
That is a great answer.
That is such a good answer.
I like that answer.
So, regressing a little bit, did you ever see his Hot Ones episode?
I did, and I was actually just as soon as you said that, that's the first thing that came to mind because
that episode opened up a lot for me when it came to him. Because I didn't aside from the fact that he's wild as shit,
right.
And he's extremely hilarious, but he does a lot. He's a true artist.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know?
And he's brilliant.
And and the fact that he reinvests so much into creating this artistic, school, university, and he puts out of his own money for people to perform every evening and bettering people and seeing what he did artistically of he became the meme god. But that was a strategic plan. He's like, I strategically tried to do that as it was like a social experiment, a social art experiment. I think he's quite brilliant, Yep. People like him and Joaquin Phoenix who do social experiments and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They fascinate me. True, deep inside, before anything you heard about me of what I do, cigar wise, I've been a graphic designer and artist my whole life. So I love hearing the way people think. So that's why when you said hey, who would you think of? The real answer are two people, but they passed away, right? So the real answer would be I would like to know what's in Jim Morrison's mind, and I would like to know what's in Anthony Bourdain's mind.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, today's the day he passed away.
Yeah.
So Anthony Bourdain to me was an icon. So.
Bro.
Yeah.
We've got a lot in common.
Well, and Bourdain, Bourdain was one of those people who, he was just different and really you could tell when he was doing what he was doing with the show. I mean, he definitely had his moments where things got out of hand and things didn't go the way.
But that's what makes him a unique, aside from person, he's like an art piece.
Yeah.
His and I've that type of stuff has always influenced me my entire life, and it turns into what I do for work. When I create projects or whatever I do, my train of thought where it's coming from is pretty much in some weird space, but he really turns things around and looks at things from a different level and a human perspective. That's just fascinating, and
I think
it's just amazing to me.
It was in Thailand and I don't remember.
Best episode ever.
Dude, so good. I don't know if it made it on the show or if it was behind the scenes when he had the pizza with weed on it delivered to him.
Behind the scenes.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, behind.
So he did one episode. He did a whole. Is when he changed from No Reservations to what was the other show?
Something Beyond
Yeah. So he went with God. Why am I blanking out his name? But the famous guy. Andy Richter, he's a chef. Who's complete American, but completely engulfed in Thai culture, speaks Thai, and he has Pak Pak Thai and all those great restaurants in Portland. He has some in New York. That episode, when I first saw that episode, I was living in Thailand when I saw it, but when I first saw that episode, I was like, yes.
Yeah.
This is Picasso. This is art, man. This guy's fucking brilliant, So, another lightning question. Please lay it on me, or is there only one?
Lightning.
Yeah, lightning round consists of one question. No. So, if you were about to get into a fight, what would your soundtrack music be?
Oh my God. That is a brilliant question. Can it be a DJ mix? Can it be multiple?
Yeah, anything at all.
Yeah.
I think I would stretch out and start doing jumping jacks to Rage Against the Machine, right? Because I feel like that is going to happen. and then my walkout song is Wu-Tang Clan, and then it's and then that would probably then turn into ASAP Ferg, like put in work, and we're gonna do like ground and pound, which is essentially my workout playlist.
Yeah, love it.
I need to get hype.
Yep.
All right, so choose one of the following. You could hit a home run as a starting pitcher. You could score a touchdown as a defensive lineman. You could score a goal in a hockey game as the goalie, or you could score a goal in a soccer game as the goalie. Not an own goal, by the way, coast to coast.
3 of those are the same answer. And I'm gonna explain to you why. Hitting a home run as a pitcher, you're ready to start the game.
Yeah.
Same thing as a goalie, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the game depends on you regardless whether you score or not, because you could have so many blocks or you could have so many strikeouts that you're already like Big Daddy Dick in the field. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean, at this point, let's talk about who's going to make more money.
Well, in the U.S., if you're in the U.S., it's NFL, hands down.
Yeah, it's got to be NFL in the U.S.
But
see, as a lineman, you're important, but you're not important.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah.
It's gonna be like, all right, man.
Don't make near as much as quarterbacks.
Like, you're just that big guy, right. Yeah.
And honestly, you look at those salaries of some of the best starting pitchers in baseball today.
Yeah, that's true.
They're making bank.
And European League soccer, those guys make bank too.
Yeah, I'd probably go with the soccer just because in my mind I would love to live internationally, which I have already, but like I'm looking at the different aspects of it.
Look at
You're already the man.
Picking it apart. I love it.
All right, let's
this is how I am, man. I'm weird like that.
I love it.
Let's jump ahead into this week's notable smokables. So, Eddie, every week Garrett and I talk about a cigar that we smoked over the last week or so that was interesting to us. It could be something that's brand new to the market. It could be something that's been on the market forever. Obviously, you being with Davidoff, mostly you're going to smoke your own stuff. But if there's anything that outside of your wheelhouse that you landed on this last week or 2 weeks or so that kind of piqued your interest, shout it out there. I'll jump in first and give you a second to think about it. So my notable smokable for the week is a cigar that I bought at a local shop actually a few months ago, but I just never finally lit it up. And last week I lit up the La Aurora Carl Malone barrel aged in the Robusto size.
I've never had that.
And you know what? It's a good cigar. I was very surprised by it. It's not overwhelmed by that sort of barrel aged flavor. Like there are some cigars that have that is just a little too much. But there's not too much of it there. It's a nice, pleasant, medium-bodied cigar that smoked really well, great burn performance, tons of smoke output, and a lot of really good flavors. So I was pleased with that one.
And mine, it was a great cigar, but it was about the moment, I think, almost more. We put in the dock at the in-laws, and then I got to swing, on a beautiful day outside over the lake and smoking a Caldwell Eastern Standard.
Yeah.
And great cigar, but just the entire experience of being out there and beautiful weather and beautiful scenery.
Yeah. Sometimes that makes it, the surroundings.
Oh yeah.
The people you're with.
100%, man. I've had cigars where I was like, meh. And then the second I have it in a great surrounding, I'm like, this is unbelievable. And then I try to have it again, and I'm like,
right.
Meh.
Yeah.
I love being pleasantly surprised, whether it's from our brand, from any other brand. Like, again, my humidor is filled with a lot, and
yeah.
I love when I pull out something that I've had thrown there for a while, like years. Dude, I mean, like I still have hundreds of cigars from like IPCPR, like 2013. You know, like, and every year since then, you know, like just from stuff that people, you know, I love our industry because everyone gives everybody everything, you know.
Yeah.
And like every once in a while I'll pull out something where I'm like, man, I shouldn't have been sleeping on this.
Right.
Yeah.
So you know, it's a really weird question for me to ask because I have right now unbelievable access to stuff that's just not on market, but it's Davidoff stuff. You know, I have great and I used to have great access to other brands as well. It's just this past 2 weeks has, you know, been pretty much exclusively our brands.
Absolutely.
Because it is what it is.
Yeah, and that makes perfect sense. Plus, you're in a good position where, you know, you're with Davidoff, so you know it's a brand that's.
So I got some Fuego that I could.
You know, it's a trusted brand that's been, you know, honestly, it's been a marquee brand in the cigar industry for as long as most people can remember. So, not a bad position to be.
Yeah. In. So I have two things that kind of blew me away. I don't know why I can never answer just one. I always have two. Jesus Christ. So, just trolling through the warehouse as I do, you know, there's always like those pallets in the back of stuff that you don't, you know, trapped inventory, like it's been sold out, but there was a couple boxes because the boxes were damaged. They couldn't sell the product, but the product inside is absolutely perfect. Yeah. So,
bummer.
Bummer, right? So, so here comes this guy.
Right.
Here comes this guy. Like,
I will help you.
What do you got back there?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I snagged myself a Camacho Liberty 2013 box. The box was damaged, but it was filled with Liberty 13. Now, what was awesome about this? Every Liberty's in a coffin, right?
Yeah.
But in that time, there was no cello. They were just in tissue paper.
Yeah.
So you have from 2013 to now where it's just been engulfed in cedar, which is this guy's jam.
Yeah.
You know, and it was caked in plume. I mean, caked. To where when I pulled it out, my brand ambassador for Camacho Nabo, George Remy, was like, ooh. Like, he looked at it real quick. He's like, ooh. And I was like, oh, no. This is plume. And then he went, oh. Right? So that was special. Mm-hmm. That was so special that I grabbed the rest of the box. I was like, I got to keep these and like hide them. And then the other thing was, of course, in that same tour, I did a little bit of a tour through the Davidoff section and a tour de Gustad Davidoff, which is one of those vault limited edition things that happens overseas. And, you know, we had like a bundle or two in there that, and I took a couple. I hope no one's watching.
Just say you may or may not. Like, then you're covered.
Yeah, but dude, like, I had it, and I was like, it was so damn good that I called the factory in DR and be like, dude, what blend was this? Like, how do I get some of this again? You know, and they're like, nah, it's not happening. I was like, fuck. It was really good. So life's pretty cool when it comes to that.
Absolutely.
That is awesome.
Absolutely.
I do got some great gems, man. But that was the past 2 weeks. I got some good gems from other companies. That was this past week. It's
always nice to, you know, dig through the humidor and find something that you forgot you had. And it's fun.
Or didn't even know because you're new in the company and everybody there is just like,
right.
I don't know what's back there. Whatever you want to take of it. And then you're just like,
sucks to be you, Eddie.
Yeah, man, that's rough, brother. That is so rough.
It's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. So guys, let's talk about some stuff we have coming up. So next week, and
for real,
stop me if you've heard this before. So next only because we've had to reschedule a few times with this particular guest just because of some shipping snafus. Because if you've tried to ship anything in the last couple of months, you know that shipping anything is a nightmare right now. So, but it's all squared away. Next week on June 16th, we're going to talk to Tim Swanson from American Viking Cigars. Finally, it's finally going to happen. So we're excited to have him on the show. We talked on the phone yesterday, and we're all squared away for next Tuesday night. And then the following Tuesday night on the 23rd, we're going to talk to Enrique Sanchez from Global Premium Cigars and the 1502 Cigars brand. And we're excited to talk to him. He's somebody that I got to know in Nicaragua a few years ago, and great guy, and excited to learn more about 1502 cigars and bring you guys that information as well. So Eddy, give everybody a final idea. Where's the best place for them to get all the info they need about Avo, Davidoff, and all the Davidoff family of brands?
I mean, I would say that the most obvious answer is our website, right? So davidoffofgeneva.com, as well as, you know what, our social media channels, to be honest, as well. Like, there's a daily plethora of information that just hits, you know, whether it's, you know, upcoming events, upcoming virtual events, like just cool stuff that we're doing. Those are really the two best places, to be honest.
Okay. Very good.
So very Eddy, generic answer, but it is what it is.
Man. That's what it is.
Yeah, we want everybody to know where to get the info if they want to learn more. Eddy, seriously, man, we're so grateful you spent some time with us on the show tonight, and we hope you had a good time.
My pleasure.
We look forward to having you back on the show again someday.
Oh, likewise, and you know, you have some mail coming.
We are very excited about that. Definitely.
We have some mail coming, and there's some more mail coming after that mail.
I love
because mail. I mean, what you're getting. Can I talk about what you're getting real quick, just for a quick second?
Of course, sure. Whatever you want.
You're going to be getting the new Special 53 Davidoff.
Special 53
coming out.
Say. Special 53.
Yes, which that's going to be a different show with Klaus. But forget about that right now. Then after that, you're going to be getting the new Camacho Liberty 2020, right? Which is awesome. And that's coming with its new buddy, the brand new Camacho Nicaragua that's going to come out in July.
Wow. Nice.
Which is, we didn't talk about it tonight, but we will in the future, because that is a spectacular piece of tobacco. And it's coming with some cool toys, you know. So, yeah, but look forward to that. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be a good year. I think it's going to be a good year. We have good products.
That's awesome.
Well, we're grateful for.
Yeah, we're grateful for it. And we, you know, we've. It's been exciting to get to know, you know, there's so many people, like you said already, that you know are part of the Davidoff family, and you know, getting to know you and Klaus and some of the other people who are you know part of that Davidoff family. It's been rewarding for us, and you know, just exciting to get more information to our viewers and listeners about, you know, because it's so varied. It's a very
it is
you know, diverse group of products, and so it's been exciting, you know, for us to let people know more about everything that's going on within the you know, within the Davidoff.
No, and it's our pleasure, man. You know, we want to communicate with the people, you know, and be humanizing, obviously. Like, there are faces behind the brand, you know.
Yeah.
And it's fun, man. Like, it's fun for us too.
Yeah.
Don't let anyone lie to you. This is fun for us too.
Yeah.
So, you know, and then hopefully when this all eases up, you know, I mean, and hopefully in the near future, you know, the return of Camp Camacho, and then, you know, be some invites on the way, because that'll be a fun experience.
Yeah, it would be
So.
great if things can start opening up again, because for consumers to be able to go and visit the factories and see the process firsthand, that's also extremely rewarding. And once things are open again,
It is, man.
Highly to everybody who listens and watches, that if you ever have a chance to go on a factory tour, Camp Camacho included, go, because it is so eye-opening and
Cool, man.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely cool.
So guys, thank you as always for watching and listening. If you have any questions, you can hit us up on howaboutthatcigar.com. Sign up for the email list. Like us and share us out on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all that good stuff. And until we see you next time, burn cigars,
not bridges.
Take care, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good one.